this is Vicki Jervikis, and I'm the Director of Public Policy and Grassroots Engagement at the Greater Gainesville Chamber of Commerce, and I'm delighted to welcome James Ingle this afternoon. James is a candidate for the City Commission at-large seat A. So we're going to spend a few minutes with him today and hear his thoughts on our upcoming election. Welcome, James.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Like I said, my name is James Ingle. I'm running for the at-large seat in the city of Gainesville, and just kind of briefly, how I got to decide to get involved in this type of thing was I just got tired of seeing people struggle in Gainesville. I always say Gainesville is this great place to live. It's a hard place to earn a living, and I think we can do better. And I'm looking forward to be part of changing that.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let me jump right in, and you'll have a chance to illuminate that intro a little bit more.
All right.
First question is, what is the role of the Gainesville City Commission in the community, in your opinion?
There's a couple different ways to think about that. Right? Like there's some technical answers you can give where, we are going to set the city budget, and, we're going to set kind of overreaching policy for the city and kind of direct the charter officers to do the different jobs that they do. But I think more than that, the city commission it's a representative of the people, right? We're sent there as representatives to speak on behalf of the citizens of Gainesville. For me, the idea is to address, kind of identify problems that the city's got, figure out what solutions to those problems are, and try and move the ball in that direction. So I think the basis of the city commission in Gainesville is to kind of work to represent the people and make it a better city.
Okay, very good. Next question is, what particular skills, and you touched on this a little bit in your opening, but what particular skills and experiences do you bring to the office?
That's a really good question. And I think on the whole, when you get a body like the commission, it works better if you've got a variety of experiences and a variety of backgrounds, and not everybody's coming at a problem from the same angle. So I think having that diversity of voices is really helpful and important. And I think I've got a much different background than what you normally think of as a city commission. I did not go to college. I went to a trade school, went to an apprenticeship program. It was very impactful in my life, and very glad that I did. But I came up working on my tools, and I've learned a lot from that field experience and how to run a crew, how to get people to work together, how to get folks with different ideas on, how to do a thing, or different ideas on how the world works, or any of that, kind of focused up on what our task is. Because if we're not all pulling in the same direction, why did it get pulled and the lights don't get turned on? So I think I've got more experience kind of getting people of different backgrounds to work together than what's standard in the city. I also think I've got a pretty good experience in town of kind of building coalitions, reaching out to different groups of people, coming together to really kind of address some problems in town. There's things we've done I'm very proud of. I've also got quite a bit of experience now. I've been on the plan board for several years. So understanding planning and zoning is a really tricky set of concepts. It's kind of like playing chess. The decisions you make, a lot of times you're not even going to really see the repercussions of until 2 or 3 steps down in that process. So having enough experience to really see the impact that making zoning and planning changes can have on a community, I think is a very valuable piece of experience. I've sat on the workforce development board, so having some idea of kind of resources and opportunities available we've got to be able to bring into town and tell people about it, I think is a valuable piece of experience. So having that different type of background, having that different type of perspective, but also having enough experience in enough areas that the city commission is going to cover, I think is something that I bring to the table.
Very good. Okay.
Go
ahead. No, don't want to cut you off.
I've never expected to be kind of in some of these positions in my life, but as being president of my local union, I sit on our pension board, and now I've got experiences You know, even though my background is in construction, coming up in the fields, I've had other experience. Now I still on a, as a trustee on a $50 million pension plan. And I feel like that's a pretty wide breadth of experience. And I think that's important.
Very good. Okay. So next question is a good segue, I think, from that, which is what would be your top priorities and projects if you're elected?
There are a lot of different issues that face folks in Gainesville. And there's a lot of good answers to that question. But I think ultimately, kind of the one closest to my heart on that is going to be, I would really like to see us expand the apprenticeship programs in town. As I mentioned, I didn't go to college. It's not a path for everybody, and there's other really viable options out there. I wasn't even aware of what apprenticeship programs were when I kind of stumbled into this. But because of the trade I found, because I was able to go to this trade school, really learn a valuable skill, I've had a career that has been life-changing. And I think it's really important to understand that when people are given these type of opportunities, I'm making decent wage, I've got retirement, I've got insurance. That's not something that a lot of jobs offer. And to take somebody like myself that was born into poverty, we were single wide trailer at the end of a dirt road when I was a kid. And now, I've got the freedom to pay my bills, to keep the lights on, to keep food in the cabinet, to have the type of comforts that I really think should be standard for everyone. And taking somebody out of that poverty situation, giving them a real solid career, I think is a change that affects not only that person, but their family and just for generations on. The difference in constantly struggling versus being able to put gas in the car without being able to take your kid to the doctor, knowing that there's food you have, knowing that you've got a retirement that's building up and you're not going to have to work for the rest of your life. Being able to own a home or pass some wealth on to your kids, like that changes a family moving forward. And it's a very virtuous circle that I think only builds on itself and gets better and better. It's a system that's been in place for a long time for the apprenticeship programs. It's very open to people with a lot of different backgrounds, and I'd really like to see that expanded. I think it's, like I said, it's a transformational thing that is an opportunity which more people can find.
Okay, terrific. The fourth question, this is always in the news here locally, and even more so today. Where do you stand on the governance of our municipal utility, GRU?
I am very much in favor of returning the governance of our utility back to an elected body. I think to have that utility governed, one, I feel like it's just been kind of an embarrassment since it's been put together. There's been 9 total appointments to that board, 5 of which have resigned. Several of the people that sit on the board now are people who have been fired from the city for various levels of incompetence. And to me, the ultimate problem with it is there's no accountability here. If I, as a citizen, have a problem with how my utility is being done, and this utility is an asset of the city of Ingle, I can go to my city commissioners. If I don't like their answer, I can run against it. I can campaign for something. You can go to city commission meetings and speak out against it. You've got some accountability for the people that are sitting there and some real way to affect whether or not they continue to sit there. To have people appointed by the governor who's not particularly aware of or knows many of the issues about Gainesville or the people he's appointing to it, that governor can change at any time. To have our authority regulated by this board that is completely unaccountable, that I will bet you 99% of the customers couldn't tell you who they were. I just think it's a backwards way to do it. I cannot tell you how many different problems I've got with the authority and how it's being run now, but I'm very much in favor of returning that to the city commission. And I'm even more so in favor of leaving that decision up to the people, putting that on the ballot and let people actually weigh in on how they want this done. Because again, this is a public asset and the public should be able to make that decision. So I think the way it was handled as far as the authority being created and the performance of the authority since it's been created is a very good example of why it should exist.
Okay, very good. Last question you touched upon again in your opening, but now you can expand on it a little bit if you'd like to. What prompted you to run for a seat on the city commission this time around?
So, you know, again, I've been involved with the community for a long time. You know, we've done many different things I'm proud of. I'll tell you one of the ones that I think back on and really take a lot of pride in is the wage theft ordinance in electric. Me and a good friend of mine read about them doing a similar thing down in Dade County. And we can do this here. You know, we had heard from a lot of folks that were going to work, doing their jobs, and then just not getting paid for it. The bosses wouldn't give them the last check, or they would cut them out of overtime, or you know, they would tell them to clock out and go continue to do work. All of which was illegal, but it's very hard to get any type of real enforcement on it. So we passed this wage theft ordinance in Alachua County. It's had a huge impact. Tens and tens of thousands of dollars back into the pockets of workers who had worked to earn these wages, but then just never got paid. In doing that, like to get something like that passed, you know, you've got to build relationships with the commission members that are sitting on the board. You've got to bring a lot of different constituencies together. You know, we talked to religious groups, we talked to workers' rights organizations, we talked to responsible business owners. They don't want to be out there competing against people just cutting corners and getting by with anything they can and not taking care of their employees. So being able to build those connections and get people together, I really enjoyed doing. And to be able to step back and see something that's been accomplished that doesn't just make a difference right now, but continues to make a difference moving forward. And, you know, like you walk away from it, it's a thing that's going to keep happening and people are going to continue to benefit. It's a really good feeling. So I want to try and keep doing that type of work, but on the other side of the dice. And again, while I think we've got a pretty good set of commissioners that are willing to listen to just about anybody that comes to talk to them, the difference between having a voice with my type of background there for every meeting and for every decision that's going to be made versus having somebody who's willing to listen to somebody with my type of background. So a big difference. So I'd like to be just kind of a constant voice for kind of working class issues on the commission.
Very good. Okay, that's the questions I had for you. So now the floor is yours. If there's anything we didn't get to cover that you wanted to cover, or anything you want to explain a little bit more, or you can just close us out. But it's up to you now.
I'll tell you, I think we covered a good bit about what my campaign's about. You know, I'm glad to be here. I really enjoyed the campaign last time. You know, getting out and being able to talk to people about politics is kind of a hobby, so to be able to do it professionally seems like a great idea. Yeah, I really love this town. You know, Gainesville is a great place to live. I really enjoy being here, and I'm looking forward to being part of what makes it an even better place.
Very good. All right, fantastic. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off that from James and say that the Greater Gainesville Chamber wants to make sure that everyone gets their voice heard this election. And the best way to do that is to get out and vote. The
Absolutely.
primary is going to be upon us before we know it. It's Tuesday, August 20th. So do what you need to do and make sure you're ready to vote on that date. James,
Absolutely.
pleasure talking to you today, and good luck on the campaign trail. We'll see you out and about in the community.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks so much.